I'm Barbara Irvine. I've been painting the Marin County watercolor scene for about 40, almost 50 years at this point. My husband and I came in 1967 and we had the Novato Art Center. We were the originators of the Old Town Art Festival and had artists here from many parts of California. Those days were very wonderful in our memory, and we have some of the paintings here to show you today that were actually done at that time. This one is my favorite of the Golden Gate Bridge from Fort Baker. And it shows a pure aquarelle style. It shows detailing. It shows a crisp watercolor style, but an open and free sky area. Today I'm going to be demonstrating a painting that will show all of these techniques. Other favorite scenes include Sausalito, where you can see the yacht boats and the beautiful pleasure craft dancing on the sparkling sea. It's quite a lovely place overlooking the San Francisco Bay from this part of it, the north part. This picture is from Tiburon and showing the yacht club, the Corinthian Yacht Club, and many small pleasure boats that dance around in the water. The sparkling water again is just done with Viridian, Cerulean, Prussian, and many different shades of blue, which I will show you. This scene is from Treasure Island, looking back to San Francisco, and it was a blustery day. Lots of movement in the water, very hard to capture by the watercolorist. This one is Paradise Cove, overlooking the San Francisco Bay, Tiburon, Sausalito, and many places that are close at hand that show the different colors and the vista that is soon to be lost. This is the scene we're choosing to show you today. Bodega Bay, that was discovered somewhere around 1750 by Juan Bodega, who wandered in. He was part of the Spanish Navy, and he came in and he discovered Tamales Bay, and then this little Bodega Bay was named for him. We're standing in Lucas Wharf. We're looking out across the bay. There's a jetty, and there's many boats and so on the other side. This is a little fishing area where they take off early in the morning. We're only going to catch a couple of the boats for this scene. The artist's sketchbook is a beautiful tool for remembering exactly where we've been. We've chosen Bodega Bay as our scene for today. This shows the horizontal view that has been chosen instead of the vertical view, and this being a color study. On this page, I've made thumbnail sketches in the vertical, in the horizontal, showing the grid, the strong vertical, the strong horizontals, where the center of interest will be. I've spent a good deal of time in studying the subject, whether it be a light value to the middle value, and then the color study. Over here, I've just made notations of the atmosphere, the mood of the day, the feeling that I have, and the colors that I may want to use. The artist's sketchbook is a wonderful remembrance tool. Also, photographs are very important. We have at our disposal these wonderful iPads where you can take photographs of the whole scene, various places, various moments, and various things that come and go into the scene. The boats that you choose to paint usually will leave. Just the right one will leave at the wrong time. The sketching is done with a 2B, and erasures are kept very limited. If you erase the surface, you will actually interrupt the free flowing of the paint because the tooth will be damaged. This is a very simple 2B pencil. I do not use a hard edge, I use a softer one. Any softer will leave pigment, the lead pigment, on the paper. And again, you use a soft eraser as well. The brushes that are used begin with the large hockey brush, then they move to the aquarelle, which is a 1-inch 100% sable, Kolinsky sable and the actual sable hairs are placed in a ferrule that goes clear down to here, and one at a time. These are very costly, but it's worth it. These brushes are very old. I've been using them for 40 years. It's a 1/2 inch, and it also comes in the 1/4 inch. One thing about these brushes will be this end of it. It's used as a scraping tool, and the clear plastic is very nice. I also use a rigger brush. The rigger is done for quick, sharp strokes, and I love the Winsor Newton pointed round that has a nice little place for your hand to fit. So those essentially are the brushes, plus the toothbrush, which gives spatters and life to your painting. To begin the painting, the artist wets the entire surface with clear water, allowing it to run down, generally about a 10 to 20 degree angle on the paper. This is the first wash. It is the warm underpainting and then the cool underpainting. And I will be saturating this side. Because the paper is taped, it will not wrinkle or curl. If you did this on a paper that wasn't taped, it would have ridges and curls. This should lay very flat. Again, I'm using the Aquarelle brush, the wide brush. Then I will turn and use the flat 1 inch Aquarelle. I'm going to work with a warm underpainting, and I will lay in these colors across this area, working quickly. I will use the warm tone across the horizon, and I will also use cadmium red medium, and I will begin to show these colors down into the foreground because they will be highly reflective. Because the paper is tilted, it will run easily and smoothly. Cadmium red, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, for the warm tones that are underneath. There's a great deal of shattered light. You want to hold on to some of the whites because you can never go back to them. Once they are gone, they are gone. Watercolors are best done if they have nice sparkling areas. The warm underpainting just about completed. Includes some of the warm tones that will be bouncing off of the dock. Sometimes the artist turns the paper vertically so that the wash will go this direction. Now I'm ready for the cool underpainting. And I'm going to use French ultramarine to begin with. It's very fun to move the board around and even to tease it into shape a little bit. That's good. All right, I'm going to add courageously a little bit of stronger color and tip it and shake it. I'll turn it again. Oftentimes, if you go back to add to a wash, it's very easy to water ring it at this stage. So in order to not do that, and you do want to add more pigment, then one uses a toothbrush to spatter in to the wash, and it will add the pigment without water ringing it. And that's what I'm doing here by adding this extra color with the toothbrush. Granulation, it will go right into the wash and pick up the strength of the pigment without water ring. All right, add a little bit more in here. It's still wet, it's still moist. Add to the interest. All right, the next thing, coming into the mountain, by adding the blue and the red. There's a bit of a lavender color, and there's texture, and the lavender fits very nicely in here. And this is just a low lane jetty. Different brushes are used for different moments, and at this point, since I'm still doing the mountain, I'm going to change brushes to a 1/4 inch to bring this down to where it belongs, adding a bit of raw sienna and adding that to the cadmium red. Then the raw sienna, now the Prussian blue, creates the green that I really like. For the cool underpainting, we're talking about warm and cool, light value, first washes, and I'm using Prussian, and I'm using raw sienna, which combines to make a very nice green. And I am going to turn the paper in this direction so that it will run the way I want it to run. And then I'll turn it back in a moment. It's okay. Otherwise, it'll run in the wrong direction. The artist can turn the paper any way that is necessary to make it work. And want it to be strong enough so it moves into second value. Normally watercolors will dry about 10% lighter in the final. And I want to see how that looks. I'll turn it around just like this. I like the strength of color. I also want to add a little bit of the lavender into the water from under the boats. Okay. And also right directly underneath the posts. The warm and cool underpainting sets the stage for first value. This completed, the artist now begins with second value. Here and there on this wash, if you take a dry chisel edge, you can lift off with clean water a few of the waves that may be coming in from the distance. Then, with a dry brush, and that would be where you use the heel of the brush, you can begin to lay in some texture on the roof with just a little bit of pigment, and it still remains in first value, but it has quite a bit of texture. And I just used what we like to call affectionately palette gray, which is French ultramarine and cadmium medium red in a very light tone. With a smaller brush, the 1/2 inch aquarelle, dropping a bit of burnt sienna into that mix, you can do the same kind of thing on the siding. First value, a little bit of dry brush, a little bit of texture, and set that in like that. Then with the same brush and the same technique, first value is laid in for all of the posts. 1/4 inch brush, and running down where each of the fence posts are. The wash was run straight across them to get the water to free flow from underneath. First value should all be the same tone all the way through.